Electric vehicles are powered with electric motors in place of the petrol engine, which is becoming popular every day. There are various reasons people are investing in these vehicles as they create less pollution than the other petrol or diesel. These cars are environmentally friendly and are powered by fuel cells. In various cases, electric cars are manufactured by converting a gasoline-powered car, so it's impossible to tell from outside whether a vehicle is electric or not. The difference you can tell while driving an electric car is that it's almost silent. So before we tell how an electric vehicle works, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. The electric motor gains energy from a controller, and it regulates a controlled amount of power based on how the driver makes use of the acceleration pedal. The car uses energy that's stored in its rechargeable batteries, and you can charge these batteries using household electricity. It moves on the roads without burning up any fuel. The advantage is that it does not exhaust any harmful emissions. The electric car has three basic components: energy storage unit, controller, and propulsion system. A chemical battery is the most common way to store energy. An example, a fuel cell generates electricity from hydrogen rather than a battery pack. The controller acts as a pipeline or gateway to the electric motor. Other things that a controller can do are act as a converter, and it converts the power from DC to AC. The propulsion system converts the electric power into physical energy for the movement of the electric vehicle. The whole system is simpler and more efficient than the combustion engines found in cars. It'll enable you to get the highest mileage for your charge. Earlier, we talked about how the electric vehicle converts the power from DC to AC. So what is the difference between DC and AC? Electricity moves through the conductor in two ways. AC is alternating current, and it's an electric current in which the electrons periodically change their direction. It happens at a determined frequency like a pendulum on a clock. Moving on to DC, it is called a direct current, and the electrons flow in a single direction from positive to negative. The battery of any electric car functions using the direct current, but when it comes down to the main motor, the car has to convert the current. DC energy has to be transformed into AC with the help of an inverter. Coming to the electric motor, it works on basic principles: the stator and the rotor. When an electric motor functions, it requires a physical process, and it consists of using a current that creates a magnetic, which is a fixed part of the machine called the stator. Its displacement sets a rotating part, and that's called the rotor. The difference between the two is that the stator is static, and the rotor rotates in a motor. It's between the stator. It then creates a magnetic field that turns the rotor. Now let's take a look at the electric vehicle's parts and how it functions. Even if you have never driven an electric car, it'll be easy for you to understand how the electric vehicle works. The electric car has batteries instead of a gas tank, as we talked about it earlier. The car has an electric motor instead of an engine. The function of the traction battery pack is like an electric energy storage system is in the form of direct current electricity. During that time, battery pack gets a signal from the controller. Once the signal is received, it'll transmit DC electric energy into the inverter. And after that, it is used to drive the motor. Talking about the electric traction motor, it uses power from the traction battery pack. The motor drives the electric vehicle's wheel. Some electric vehicles also use motor generators that are known to perform both drive and regeneration functions. And then the power electronics controller is an inverter and a converter combination. It recharges the battery pack of the electric vehicle. When the car comes to a stop due to the regenerative braking, it develops kinetic energy that sustains the flow of energy from the battery, which is controlled. The controller unit uses tandem, which is said to be a combination of converter and inverter. In some vehicles, the DC motor control system is used. The motor is switched to keep the costs under control. Nowadays, most electric vehicles are using an AC controller motor systems, and it's known to improve the efficiency of the motor. The motor system is also lightweight. There's also the auxiliary battery that provides electricity to the power vehicles to function. The most important feature of the electric vehicle is the charging port, as it acts as the fuel to the car. The charge port allows the vehicle to connect itself to external power to gain power. It will allow the traction battery pack to charge. The car also has a DC converter, which converts the high voltage power, and DC generates from the traction battery pack. It lowers the voltage that the level DC power is required to run the vehicle's accessories. It also recharges auxiliary battery power. The electric vehicle also contains a thermal system that maintains a proper operating temperature. It knows the temperature engine requires, and the range is set according to it. The thermal system also maintains the temperature of the electric motor, power electronics, and many other components. There's also a power electronics controller unit that can manage the flow of electrical energy. The traction battery delivers a controlled speed of the electric traction motor. It also produces torque. Another component of the electric vehicle is the onboard charger. It takes the incoming AC electricity supplied, which it will get through the charge port. It converts the DC power for charging the traction battery. The onboard charger communicates with the charging equipment. It also monitors battery characteristics like the voltage, current temperature, and the state of charge when it gets charged. Electric vehicles are like automatic ones, and they have forward and reverse mode. You place the vehicle in gear and then press forward to the accelerator pedal. The power then will get converted from the DC to the AC for the electric motor. The accelerator sends signals to the controller, and it adjusts the speed of the vehicle. It changes the frequency of AC power. The inverter connects with the motor, which connects and turns the wheels. It takes the help of the cog, and when the brakes are pressed or the car is slowing down, the motor converts into an alternator and produces power which gets sent to the battery. The charging of an electric car depends from model to model. First, let's take a look at the slow-charging electric vehicles. The charging is rated up to 3 kilowatts. You'll often have to charge this vehicle overnight. And in general, charging time ranges from 8 to 10 hours. Moving on to the fast-charging electric vehicles, the range is typically between 7 kilowatts to 22 kilowatts. Again, it differs from model to model, and the average charging speed of the vehicle is 3.4 hours. The charging ports for the car are generally installed in car parks, supermarkets, leisure centers. Also, the houses that have off-street parking. Then comes the rapid charging beasts that are typically rated from 43 kilowatts. These charging ports are only compatible with electric vehicles that have rapid charging capability, and the charging time of this car usually ranges between 30 to 60 minutes. There are various types of electric vehicles that are available in the market. Some vehicles run on only electricity, others can also run on petrol or diesel, are called hybrid vehicles. First is the plug-in electricity, which of course works only on electricity, and it'll gain its power when it's plugged into charging. It doesn't need petrol or diesel to run like traditional vehicles, and hence they don't exhaust any emissions. Next up, we have the plug-in hybrid, which mainly runs on electricity, but they also have a traditional engine that stores petrol or diesel. In case your car loses its charge, you can switch the engine and use petrol or diesel for your car to function. When they run on fuel, they will emit gases, but not when they're running on electricity. These hybrids can be plugged into any charging port to recharge the battery. The last one is the hybrid electric, which run mainly on petrol or diesel, but also have an electric engine. It is recharged through regenerative braking. The vehicle lets you switch the engine using the EV mode at the touch of a button. You cannot plug these cars into any source of electricity, as they usually rely on petrol or diesel for energy. We all know electric vehicles are environmentally friendly, so a switch to these vehicles will help to contribute towards cleaner air and reduce harmful pollution. You save so much money on gas and fuel, and if you install solar panels at your home, it'll drastically reduce the cost. These low maintenance do not have many components that'll have to be replaced regularly. The electric vehicle operates without sound pollution, giving you a classy look and high performance. If you like the video, let us know in the comments below if you also considered switching to an electric vehicle. Do check out our other videos for more information.